I want to move we're going to stick to the Arsenal question, but it's not about the game specifically. This is really the question that I want to have based on, I think, a lot of ridiculous assessment from Arsenal fans and I've been involved in a lot of like very heated conversations over the last kind of weekend before the game and after the game, calling out people, getting the receipts in, mudding a lot of people who thought that Tottenham have got no chance and think that Arsenal, in my opinion, I think that Arsenal fans think that Arsenal are way better than they really are. They're basing their opinion on Arsenal last season, that is the new normal for Arsenal. I believe it was the anomaly, the exception to the rule. Yes, they've got injuries, but everyone faces them. And I want to ask this question to you guys. How close is the gap between Arsenal and Tottenham right now in your mind? And essentially, if Arsenal are title challengers, if they are, then are Tottenham? And if Tottenham aren't, then can we really say that Arsenal are, based on what we've seen from the two teams right now? I'll start with you on this one, Johnny.
Look, the gap last year, I think, was 24 points, which is huge. It's not a gap, it's a chasm, right? Look, it's very difficult. This is just a snapshot. We played 6 games of the season. 6 games?
Yeah, 6 games.
Yeah, 6 games. Yeah, I thought of...
Well, 7 with Fulham.
So, yeah, but six league games. 6 league games. It's too early to call. Look, I'm not going to get carried away here, right? Arsenal are a good team, right? With a full-strength team, they are a good team, okay? We got a good draw against a good team, okay? For me, the barometer for everything that went on, I think Man United were a poor team. I didn't really put a lot of thought process into that. For me, the 2 games I wanted to judge us after was Arsenal and Liverpool. And I actually believe that Liverpool would be the greater test for us because of that front line and the strength in depth off that bench attacking. But I think Arsenal are a good team. Arsenal are a good team. How we have managed to close and flip this around in such a quick space of time is quite incredible. I do think, in Conte, I've mentioned this before, had a bunch of progressive players who he was trying to turn into pragmatic football, and it just didn't work. So what the advantage Ange's had is coming into the team and getting this squad and these players who really wanted to embrace this progressive football, welcomed it with open arms. And he's got the new players. And let's be honest, these new players, Bissouma's like a new signing. What Conte only did to him is criminal, right? Same what he did with Sarr. But you add these players and the belief and the fact that he turns round and says, I don't care if you make a mistake, right? Under Conte ball, they looked shit scared to make a mistake. They looked like there was repercussions should they step out of line. And I think there were. But with Ange, when Addison, we've said it before, when Maddison made that mistake and gifted Jesus the chance, right? No one was berating him. Everyone's behind him. We move on. And as Mickey van der Ven said, if you make a mistake, just carry on. There's no hoofing the ball into the stands. I want you to play your football. I want you to just keep on. We never stop. And the belief has such that we have elevated. He has elevated these players to play at a higher plane. I think if you gave the same squad to Conte, he'd still be there moaning every day, about where he's short and what have you. The problem we have, though, is we don't have depth. And that's where we will come short of Arsenal, unfortunately. Already, we're worried about Maddison. We saw in that last 20 minutes, when Maddison went off, we had nothing. We were devoid. It was Tottenham of old, no creative midfield. It's something that needs to be addressed. We also know that if Mickey van der Ven or Romero get injured, we got serious problems. We also know that come January, we could have problems. So it's there. It's there. We all know it's there. But we have to enjoy the moment. We have to enjoy the moment. Has the gap changed and closed? 100%. 100% that gap is closed because we have belief. The players have belief. I just think that, if we can survive somehow to January and we can add a couple of components that are needed, maybe another centre-back and a creative midfielder, then we've got possibilities to keep this going. I mean, we all remember Leicester. We all remember when everyone was saying, it'll never last. It'll never last. Hopefully it will last. But we're all playing against a Man City team that is
but Johnny, aside from Manchester City, do you think that, because I personally don't believe Arsenal are as strong this year as they were last year, even though they might
stronger.
Liverpool are, but I'm not talking about Tottenham being in a title challenge, really. I said that more tongue-in-cheek. My question is really, are Arsenal in a title challenge? I don't think they are. I think if you look at them right now, and I get it, I know they're going through injuries, and I know that they've lost 3 or 4 of their first 11, and the same argument, any other team apart from City go through the same thing, they're going to struggle. But Arsenal haven't started the season very well. They've got the results, but when they didn't have the injuries, they still weren't playing fantastically well. And there was this presumption that, they're playing against low block teams, so the only way you can handle Arsenal, if you can handle them at all, is through low block. Tottenham went a different way about it. And I just think that, if you're looking at the conversation right now, Man City are clearly going to be there. Liverpool, for me, are the number 2 in terms of who can push them the most. After that, I think that there's probably 3 or 4 teams, maybe 4 or 5 teams that are in and around that area. And I know that people think that Champions League does extend to 5 teams this year. It doesn't by guarantee. It's not based on the coefficients of the teams that finish 5th. It's only if the top 2 European performing nations, if one of them is England, then it will drop to a 5th team. So it's not a guarantee, although it is likely. But I think that Arsenal are in a Champions League conversation, not a title conversation. And I don't know if, Dave, if you agree with that, mate. I was
just going to say, just before Dave goes, I was going to say that let's not kid ourselves here, right? If Arsenal are playing badly, okay, like everyone keeps saying, they're unbeaten, right? Okay, they're missing a lot of players. If you continue, like everyone's bigging us up, we're playing great, we're on the same points, yeah? And they're playing badly, and we're playing great, we're on the same points. Yeah. So, let's have some thought process here.
That's fair.
That, and I'm a massive Spurs fan, and I hate Arsenal.
They've dropped points though. The 4 points they've dropped have both been at home, which correct. I think is an interesting variable. So go on, Dave. I'll let you take over where you want to go with it, mate.
I disagree with Johnny slightly. I think, look, the whole thing with Arsenal, I think, was blown up last year. They needed someone to chase Man City down so that they didn't have a one-horse league narrative like you have in many other top leagues across Europe. And I think they were helped with a lot of referee decisions that went their way last year, along with what went their way in the North London Derby. But also, name me another season where Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and I'm going to put Man United in there because they only got going towards the end of the season to get top 4, all drop off. Every 4 teams all drop off, which automatically propelled Arsenal into that title challenge. And then he also benefited from getting off to a good start, having the World Cup there, and everything else. So for me, that's what put them in a title challenge. And I always said they will not be there next year because other teams will come back. The likes of Liverpool, Tottenham are coming back now. So for me, I don't think they'll be able to maintain it with a title challenge this year. Definitely not. Do I think they're in the top 4 conversation? Yes, potentially, but I also think the wheels are falling off at Arsenal. I think that's going to happen this year. I look at what I see, around Arsenal. They've spent 750 million, a heavily financed project. Another couple of results don't go Arteta's way. All of a sudden, he's under pressure, and then they have to have the conversation. Do you sack him or not? You look at Tottenham. We're 7 games in, including the League Cup game. Our project is already more exciting than what they've financed and been under Mikel Arteta. And a lot of Arsenal fans already know that as well by looking at us at the weekend. So for me, I think the wheels are coming off this season over Arsenal. I'd be surprised if Arteta lasts the end of the season. He benefited from having a young, hungry squad last year. But what they don't have is the mentality to be able to get it over the line. And for me, I don't think they get anywhere near a title race this year. And look, they can moan about injuries all they want. When Tottenham finished it last season, did anyone else outside of Tottenham speak about the amount of injuries we carried last season? No,
of course. Injury stories, moaning about injuries are always reserved for the fan of the team who's experiencing them. I hear lots of content creators that always talk about their team's injuries, but when you're talking about your team's injuries, they dismiss it as a variable that everyone goes through. Tottenham went through it last year. Arsenal are going through it right now. Tottenham might be going through it in a couple of weeks. We don't know what the outcome is. But listen, I acknowledge it and I accept that Arsenal would be a better outfit with a full-strength squad, but they haven't looked great throughout the season. They found a way to get it done. But I agree with you, Dave. Arteta has 2 seasons of track record of bottling their ambitions in the final run-in. If they do it again, I don't think Arteta will be fired mid-season, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Arteta out camp. And there's a lot of that Arsenal fan base that were Arteta out for the previous 2 years that are just waiting for the chance to start, waving that cap in the air again, waving that flag. And so if things do go a little bit Pete-tong, then that's the negativity that's waiting to kind of encompass it. That's a cloud that no one likes to have over their club.
He's not very likable, is he? I mean, he's just not likable, Lego head. The whole way he gets it. Sorry, Dave. The whole way he gets the team playing. I mean, I was screaming at the TV. He's almost on the pitch. They're running down the wing, and he's there. Why is the 4th official not pulling him back into the technical area? It doesn't happen once. It happens all the time. I posted a clip of him. He's literally on the player. Yeah, he's got to bring himself away. They're playing a game of football, and he wants to be on the pitch.
Yeah,
and he's. I feel like his players are an extension of that, holding their faces, rolling around, banging on the ground as soon as they've been challenged.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's pretty dirty kind of style, isn't it?
But look, his press interviews. Like when he was asked, "Is Ray your new number one?" and his answer.
Oh, I saw that.
I have 11 players. Do you know?
So disrespectful to the interview. That was so disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful. Sorry, Dave. Go on, mate.
No, look, I just think with Arteta, I think the whole thing is sort of coming to an end. I really do. I think, where did it go after finishing second last year? If they don't put themselves in the title race this year, they're regressing. And for me, I think then the decision has to be made. You look at the style of football they're playing; it's nowhere near as quick, as fast, as good as it was last year. And I just think the difference is he's had to rely. He relied on. He done a bit what Pochettino done when he came into Tottenham, right? Got rid of all the old heads, brought up some young guns, and they're young, impressionable, so they'll do everything he says. Now he's having to start dropping them and start using the players that the club have financed to bring in here, and they're going down a little bit of a different tack. And I think ultimately that'll end up coming back, causing problems in the dressing room. And once you get problems in the dressing room, it leads to the manager being sacked. And I know a lot of people in the chat are saying, "Oh, Dave, you're talking rubbish." Okay, you're the same people that told me I was deluded about Don Paratici's recruitment. How did that one work out for you guys? So zip it, please. Thank you. I'm going to answer my door. I'll be back in a sec.